I am one with the freeing power, one with the freeing power, one with the freeing power of God. And I give into it, I fill my soul with it, till I am made of it, and I am one with it. I am one with the freeing power of God. And as we prepare to receive Rev. Todd's message, I believe it was Amy Steinberg who wrote this one, Intimate with the Infinite.
What a great song, Deidrey. Thanks for picking that out. I got to meet Amy Steinberg last year at the UMass conference, the Unity Ministers of the Mid-Atlantic States. She lives in Asheville, North Carolina now. What a great song. Thank you, Deidrey. Some of you saw one of my posts on social media this week. I had to go on stage because a child actor got sick, and so I was Vlad Vladikov, who threatens the Who's. You may remember Dr. Seuss, Seussical the musical. What was that? I was menacing. I threatened the Who's. I steal the clover flower that the speck of dust is on where the Who's live. I had been helping the director wrangle. There were a lot of kids in this show, so I was helping wrangle children. And so I used a story from my time in college because when I was a freshman in college, I was in a show called Ring Round the Moon. You've heard people say before, there are no small parts, only small actors. You heard that? Okay, so I was, my entire scene was dancing across the stage at the end of Act 2. That was it. That's it. And I missed my entrance at the final dress rehearsal because I was not paying attention. So I was trying to tell the kids, you have to be quiet so you can hear what's happening on stage so you don't miss your entrance. Learn from my mistakes. How often do we not pay attention? I stood up here last week doing a meditation, and I thought that somebody had come in late and was just being rude and talking over everybody in the middle of a meditation. And then I opened my eyes and I looked up, and somebody was staring at me, and they said, "We're having a medical emergency." Because I wasn't paying attention. Now, our friend is doing really well. His doctor said, stay close to home this week, till we figure out exactly what's up. So he's good. He's great. Very happy, very loving to this congregation, was so overjoyed with the support that he received from everyone here. So kudos, my friends, for all of that. But we got to pay attention. Sometimes we like to withdraw into ourselves. I'm not picking at anybody in particular. I saw somebody look down into he's looking at me. Sometimes we withdraw. Sometimes I've seen this in many times in my time in Unity. People go, "Oh, I've got this now." They understand, and I've got this. And so they retreat for a while. Now and I'm not talking like, self-care, personal sabbatical stuff. We all need that. I've done that before. Would y'all believe I left the Unity Church once for about a year and a half? Because I had personal work I had to do. But sometimes we decide, I've got it, and we withdraw. This is something I came across this week. This is in The Mysteries of John, which is a book written by Charles Fillmore. Those who spend much time in the Spirit come to be so much in love with it that they find it hard to endure the selfishness of the world, which they are tempted to leave entirely. Mystics and spiritual adepts withdraw to caves and the wilderness, as far from the haunts of men as they can get, because of the evil they see and feel so vividly. Anybody see and feel some evil in the world, and you want to go hide? Yeah. Then it becomes a real struggle to keep the self in the world. It is not right for one who has found this divine truth within himself to withdraw from those who are ignorant of it and enjoy his riches alone. The co-founder of Unity is telling us you can't just withdraw because this all looks terrible and horrible because people don't know the truth. We have to show up and hold the truth. And that doesn't mean we just show up on a Sunday morning and hold the truth here with a group of believers. We get to go out into the world and hold that truth when we're standing in line in the grocery store, when we're in a theater and trying to wrangle 80 children, try to get them to be quiet. Everywhere we are in this world, we get to show up because we have seen a glimmer of the truth. And that truth is that God is alive in us and in all that we see, everyone that we experience. All that is here and present in this manifest world is a individualized expression of absolute good and unconditional love. And sometimes people don't know that's who they are. You ever met somebody that didn't know that they were loved? Because if they knew they were loved, if I knew that I was loved, I would not always act like that, say that, be that way. It's the constant process of remembering who we are. Last week we somehow got around to talking about some meditation and why we meditate, we meditate so that we can know who we are, so that when stuff happens in the world, we can show up and be the presence of good, that we can be unconditional love at all times. Now, Jesus was really good at that. As I said last week, Jesus was a step ahead of us. Jesus was living in a different dimension. These are our training wheels. We're trying to learn how to do it, right, Patty? We're learning, and we're walking each other home as we learn how to do this. We're learning how to do this. Whew. Thanks for the practice. Sometimes we have to practice. I've had to forgive myself over and over again of certain things this week because I don't always show up being the person who I want to be. Sometimes I overcommit. Sometimes I talk bad about myself. I talked bad about myself this week because I needed some extra sleep. I thought I was being lazy. Anybody ever needed some extra sleep? It's just me, right? See, sometimes we do have to step away. We have to go into the garden and get centered and pray. But if we know the truth, we can't just withdraw. Because when we withdraw, then we don't notice when those crazy voices that sometimes show up that don't belong to us, those crazy voices with thoughts that are not necessarily capital T truth, a thought, an idea, a belief that someone else gave you, maybe 50, 60, 25 years ago that doesn't really belong to you, but that voice will come back and when it does, it pulls us down. See, we need to be in community with people who know the truth so that we can practice with each other. Ooh, I had this crazy thought. And we can remind people, that's not who you are, right? I was beating myself up last week at the end of that service thinking, I don't know what came out of my mouth. I'm not sure what happened. And Beth came up to me and all she did is held my hands and she said, good, 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 good. Because we have to remind each other sometimes of the truth of who we are. Now, there's, this beautiful song that Amy wrote and Amy Steinberg wrote and that Deidrey just sang for us about, knowing the truth and being open and ready to receive our good. Anybody want to receive their good? You do? Here's something else that Charles Fillmore wrote. This is the preceding paragraph of the one I just read. In its highest form, prayer is an exalted state of consciousness in which self-interest is lost in the desire to do good for everybody. Think about that. When we are in that place where we've been meditating, where we know the truth, and the truth is that there is one. Just one. The level of spirit, we are one. And so what we want to open to receive for ourselves, we want to be received by all. We want to have full bellies and a warm place to sleep, or a cool place to sleep, depending on how hot it is outside. So, that means that we want to affirm a full belly in a safe place for all. We want to affirm that everyone feels loved and supported. We want to affirm that people experience community and have an ongoing expansion of understanding this truth of oneness. And we can't do that when we withdraw to a cave in the wilderness. We are one. We are absolute good and unconditional love, and we open up to receive all the good that God could ever imagine for us. Because God is the imagination. We'll tie a little bit of metaphysics in for you. The Trinity and unity is mind, idea, expression. Divine mind is God. God is the thinker and the thought. God is divine mind. Christ is the ideas. You are the Christed idea. You are the perfect idea of you in the mind of God. In the mind, breathe that in for a second. In the mind of God, you are perfect as an idea. And then we have expression. You are the manifest, individualized expression of Christ. Here. And so that means that there's only one thing that you really, really have to do. Love. Love one another. And sometimes all that means is you just have to walk up to somebody and hold their hands and say, good. Good, 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 good. Good. Because that's who they are. That's who they are. That's who you are, Kathy, is good. That's who you are, Barbara, is good. And we see that because it's a reflection of us. We are good. Say that, I am good. I am good. Own that. If you're at home watching, say that too. I am good. It doesn't matter if you're in a coffee shop. Let people stare at you. I am good. You are absolute good and unconditional love showing up at this point. Remember who you are this week. Show up. Even if you know the stuff, you know that you know the stuff, show up, because there are people who haven't seen a glimmer of the truth yet, and you get to be a light. What's it they say? Don't put it under a bushel. Don't hide your light under a bushel. You got to stand up and shine, my friends. And one way you can stand up and shine is you can join our spiritual economics class on Tuesday night. Even if you've read this book 75 times, somebody there is reading it for the first time. You get to hold the space as they come to understand the truth, and I'll guarantee you that your consciousness can expand some more too, because every time I pick up a book, that explains this consciousness stuff, that explains this vibration stuff, that explains this concept of showing up and being love, I am changed. Because if we stop changing, we're moving on to the eternal part of our life. Yes? That's our word today. I'm so grateful all of you are with us today. Look around and tell somebody they're good. I love you, friends. Thanks for being here.
Beautiful message, Rev Todd. Beautiful message. I am one of those people that tends to retreat myself. And so, but I like what you said. Allow ourselves to be the love that we are. And we have to make the decision. I believe we have to make the decision to give of ourselves, to live like that beautiful light that we are. Daniel Namod. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision, and no one else can tell me